This is going to be lesson 3, part 2. Going right into eggs, one of our other favorite dairy products. So, eggs, an oval or round object laid by a female bird, reptile, fish, or invertebrate, usually containing a developing embryo. Um, so yeah, eggs is just like milk too, another substance that a lot of mammals produce. You can have all different kinds of eggs, and the same with milk from cows. We can have milk from all different kinds of eggs. If you see the definition I have here, it says secreted by most all mammals produce a kind of milk for their lung. So you could have lion milk, you could have lion butter, lion cheese, or alligator milk and eggs. But just continuing on, so butter is a fatty substance that um, yeah. So eggs, they're another thing that's like wow, so convenient for someone that's starving to death. They're literally um, like survival balls of survival, like golden eggs from that time because you could survive on an egg for like 3 days. The amount of cholesterol and calories it has, it's absolutely the perfect thing for someone that's not sure when their next meal is going to be. It's just super rich in all kinds of fats, and it has like a good amount of nutrients for like a young person, someone who's trying to grow, which is the whole point of eggs and milk is for a young person, a young mammal. But no other animals are some are consuming eggs. Some birds like eat each other's eggs and stuff like that, but mostly humans are the only ones that really eat eggs and milk um, from another species. So then we get into our number one favorite food in America: meat. Salty, spicy, so many different kinds. The flesh of an animal, especially a mammal, as food. So we really do know what meat is. So it's potentially the number one thing that's been able to keep us alive is the meat from cows because um, it a cow could produce so much meat, literally hundreds of pounds of meat, and they would eat the thing to the bone back in the day, like to the bone. They would keep it. They would preserve every single part. Think about people doing that today. They do that because it's more environmentally friendly. They say, but really back then it was a part of survival, knowing how to break down and use every part of a cow. And they only did that when they absolutely needed to. They keep the cows alive, as I was saying in the other video. The cows were so important for our survival, and not just for the cheese and the milk, um, but for the meat too, because they could dry it and it would be something they could have like jerky. So it was something that could be preserved while they didn't have refrigeration, because that was a huge thing too. Then there was no refrigeration. That was relatively a recent discovery. And so yeah, cows were extremely important. Chickens extremely important to human survival, and there we should really be grateful for having them on the planet because we would really be in trouble in colder climates if we didn't have them. And here's something that just shows the value of cows. Back in 1867, so not even that far back in terms of history, and it shows there's a little quote from Wyoming Historical Society talking about how the Wyoming cattle boom, and this quote summarizing it saying that cows were sold for there was a time when cows were sold for $2,000 for one healthy cow, and that's in today's currency. So back then it was only $86, but today's currency that's around $2,000, more than $2,000. And then a man's net worth even was calculated by how many cows he owned, as they say in the bottom there. Then dawned a time in Texas that a man's poverty was estimated by the number of cattle he possessed. So that's pretty crazy. Um, so we talked about kind of the history of why we eat so much meat. We really only did because we left Europe, we left the tropical climates, and moved north to then starving winters. Nothing can grow in the winter if you didn't know. A lot of people don't even know that. But yeah, fruits and vegetables don't grow in cold climates. They need warm climates, especially tropical fruits that will grow year round. They just keep producing fruit year round, um, like we see in tropical places. It was harder to grow stuff even in the colder climates. It was totally different. So you really need to adjust to it and understand what's going on. And unfortunately, a healthy natural system was really never developed in Europe. And as I get to next in part of the history part, but I'll just keep that for now. So, yeah, bread. Bread is another one of our favorite things, even today. And it is, simple ingredients, really. And it's been around for a long, long time. Um, it's, we all know bread is, we all love bread. We all know it's a very controversial topic in diets and stuff like that. Just a little background. Some homemade bread is made with raw ingredients. It's usually organic stuff, organic flour, organic eggs, milk. And the big thing about homemade bread is that it gets stale in 1 to 2 days. You go to the fanciest French bakery in basically like 8 hours. It's hard as a rock. Not 8 hours, but like 20 hours. It's hard as a rock. So and that was the way it was back in the day too. Every kind of bread was organic, so it was like stale, and a lot of recipes today are around having stale bread, because right after it was out of the oven, it was stale. And then we get to with the bread we have now, the bread that lasts forever, and that is processed bread. I say synthetic science experiment bread because it kind of is. It's a today especially the way we've been able to throw some things in to really keep it shelf life stable, or just unnatural, and just part of that. I don't think I got too into it, but the business side of food. Yeah, so that's really how that is, and really what we're learning about bread in terms of these the super doctors. They say that it really isn't good. It turns to a glue in our digestive system. Um, if you're gluten intolerant or not, it's potentially toxic and unnatural for being in the body. And it's just something to fill us up when we don't have a lot of calories. Back in the day, it was another lifesaver. We could have a little bit of something, a little bit of bread, and a little bit of lard, or a little bit of cheese, and a little bit of meat, and a little bit of bread. It was a nice little snack, and now we still have that today in America, where I live, even in the most expensive county, one of the most expensive counties in the world. And we have bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches in every town, as far as the eye can see, which is basically, a nice little bread, egg, and cheese sandwich. So we haven't, we still really love these things because we love them now. We loved them way more back then. Um, so now we're getting to some fruits. So fruit is kind of different than the things that I've been talking about, right? What is the difference in fruit? A sweet and fleshy product of a tree or other plant that contains a seed and can be eaten as food. Whoa. So no one needs to be dying. No one needs to be getting their eggs and other juices stolen from them. It's kind of grow on trees, and they have seeds so they can be regrown like anywhere. Like you can just clone a pineapple tree, an apple tree. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to buy anything. You can just plant it and know how to plant it, and it grows. And that's pretty crazy. Wow. So we have frozen fruits. We have processed fruits. Frozen processed food. Okay, wait, no, yeah, let me go back to frozen vegetables. So really, frozen vegetables is something that the processed food industry's gotten into, and it's the big thing is that Dr. William Lee talks about is that they really can't be digested by our microbiome, so our body can't get any vitamins or minerals or fiber from it. It just goes right through you. All frozen vegetables, all frozen foods, and you feel it too. It's you definitely can tell because it's just doesn't just goes right through you, and it makes sense. Anything that's so easy like that. Oh, just froze it. I'll just get some frozen vegetables. Oh yeah, when it's that easy, you really can kind of tell that it's obviously not healthy. Um, so then, yeah, we get this huge market of just processed food besides frozen vegetables and fruits. and it's one of the biggest industries there are today. Every supermarket basically has 5 aisles designated frozen processed foods, um, and yeah, basically have no food value. Just science experiments to make that are very addictive, and they make you hungry in another 2 hours. So they keep you perpetually unhealthy in your microbial, in your microbiome, and your GI tract. So, but fruits are actually packed with fiber, phytonutrients, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and have zero saturated fats. Has natural sugars called glucose, complex carbohydrate, which is a fancy way of saying that it has natural nutritional value that microbes love. It breaks down slowly so the body can absorb nutrients. This is what experts call complex carbs, which completely disregard the existence of your microbiome. So, yeah, I don't really like how they would be just so like, oh, that's a complex carb. Oh, that's a simple carb. Oh, that's just a carb. You need your carbs. No, this is so a generalization because fruits and vegetables and nuts are complex carbohydrates that can be broken down by the microbiome. Bread is considered a carbohydrate, but pasta is considered a carbohydrate. Cannot be broken down by the microbiome. It does not do anything with that stuff. It just is like we melt it down, maybe get something out of it, and then it just goes right through. Anything that, other kind of bacteria might like that. Other kind of acidic bacteria do like that stuff. Same with meat. Yeah, so fruit actually is designed to be in the human body because of the microbes that digest it along our 50-foot GI tract, and it ferments, and our body pulls the nutrients out slowly, and that's how it works. We don't just eat something and dissolve it like a tiger, or a lion, or an alligator, who they just swallow something whole and just let it out in like 5 hours with nothing just but bones. But we don't do that. We have a huge digestive system. A tiger, most carnivores, real carnivores, have a 7-foot GI tract. Humans have a 50-foot GI tract. Because of that, we break it down over time. And so ideally, too, we want to be eating organic fruits. We see a lot of today, all GMO fruits and vegetables, mostly. And now anything that is organic is extremely expensive because they know people do care now. But really, scientists have shown that we don't really know the long-term health outcomes of eating this organic GMO food because it's only really started in the last 30 years, and like heavily with everything being GMO'd. So we don't really know exactly what's going to happen. Maybe we do know that they do have significantly less nutrients, and they're not even sure how much they do have. We just know that it looks like exactly like a pepper, or it looks exactly like a natural one. So we really don't know exactly how bad eating GMO foods is today. Let me see where I'm at. Damn. All right. So next we're gonna do some nuts.